coming
mm,
from a warned about this, that if we are not food
mm.
independent, we're going to surrender our political independence. And in his book, Neocolonialism, the last stage of imperialism. This is exactly where we are today. So, in spite of this story, the fact of the matter is Africa imports $35 billion to $40 billion worth of food every year. Just think about that. Money that could be going to schools, to hospitals, to clinics. It's just mind boggling. So, this story is a
Mm.
minor interest, you know, to me, in terms of what needs to be really done to resolve the situation. The story still is, while it says, so some countries are doing better, 20 million extra children were fed in the last 2 years. It still tells at the same time that by 2030, 60% of the world's hungry people will be in Africa.
In Africa.
We're talking 307 million people. So, in other words, the story itself is saying this 20 million, being able to feed 20 million extra children in 2 years is insignificant compared to the real problem that exists on the continent. It says so in the story, but it's just reworked it. This could have been the lead itself. It could have been the headline, you know.
Mm.
In 4 years, 60% of the world's hunger will be in Africa. That, in fact, is the story right there, you see? So obviously there are a number of things. And it ties in with the whole dependency model. And it celebrates dependency because it says, quote, poor countries face falling aid from their rich counterparts. First of all, there are no such things as poor countries. These are exploited countries. You know, how can the countries
Impoverished
that have
countries.
more resources than the rich countries be referred to as quote unquote poor countries? That's nonsense. But it reinforces that unconscious, propaganda narrative. But for the lack of generosity from the US, from the West, these countries would also be like us. Of course not. They are kept, unlike
Mm.
you in the West, by the mere fact that it's their resources that allow you to build your wealth. So your whole model is
Mm.
tied on keeping these countries dependent, keeping them hungry, and keeping them not industrialized so they can import your manufacturers.
Mm.
So that's my
Mm.
take on it.
Mm.
One point,
Thank you,
actually. Let me
brother,
just
for
add one
that.
point, just to condemn the Africans. So while they have food shortages, people are hungry, people are starving, they're getting food aid sometimes from outside. They're always like celebrating their record production of coffee, tea, cotton, cocoa, flowers, things that people cannot eat. That is the other contradiction that we need to end by all means necessary in Africa.